Good afternoon and welcome back to DA Student Wellbeing Facebook page. This afternoon, I keep saying morning, but it's definitely afternoon now. I've had my lunch, we're all good. I'm back this afternoon with Penumbra. So we've got three people. We're very lucky. We've actually got three on the call today. I wanted one, I got three. So we've got Katie, we've got Anne, and we've got Mark. You're all going to speak to you individually about what they do within the Penumbra service. Just to introduce myself quickly, I'm Jason. I'm the Student Wellbeing Officer at Dundee and Angus College. I'm with you all week as part of our Refreshers Week. And this is a really good session today because it's getting to know some of our external partners out there, some of the people that are doing the work in the community. And it's just great to find out what it is they're doing, what got them into it, what services are there right now and how you access them. So that's what we're going to be discussing over the next 40 minutes. So I'm pretty sure you're already fed up hearing my voice. Which is great because I'm going to actually pass over to Anne. I'm not. I've just got that wrong. I'm going to pass over to Katie. I even practiced that, right? Anyway, this is live TV. Never worked with kids and animals. Never worked with me. Okay, guys. Katie, tell us who you are, what you do.
Hi there. Well, my name's Katie, and I'm a recovery practitioner with Penumbra. I've been here about 10 years now, and it's a job I really enjoy, really love it. Our service supports people to help with their well-being, their mental health, whatever problems they feel they're having, that they feel they're at a stage of recovery and they want things to be changing. So it's anybody in Dundee that's 16 plus can come into our service, and you can be referred by your college lecturer, your GP, anybody, or you can refer yourself. To refer yourself, it's just you can phone the office and we can organise emailing out a referral or post it out, whatever way. We can also complete it with you over the phone. So it's just whatever's easiest for you. When people, sorry.
I was going to say, Katie, what types of things would you get then? What types of phone calls are you used to receive and what's quite common at the moment?
Well, we'll have quite a few phone calls, sometimes from the person looking for support or sometimes from a parent or a partner. And it may be that they've recognised the person's struggling a bit just now. And it might be anxiety. I think the current situation with COVID's caused quite a lot of anxiety.
Absolutely, yeah.
People not being able to get out of the house. And then when they can, suddenly thinking, I don't actually want to right now. They've become quite comfortable in their own home.
Absolutely. So is that because certainly some of the experiences I'm having with our young people is social anxiety.
Yeah,
that's something. What I think that's what you've described there is like the fear of going back out again because you're locked up.
Re-engaging with clubs and things that have been stopped for so long that people have just found different ways to use their time, and the thought of going back can be quite intimidating, I suppose.
It's really quite hard. I'm just thinking as well, like it took a lot for me personally this time last year. And I think I spoke to Mark at this time actually around about this time. And we were at home for, 3-4 months, January through till I think the end of March. That before you knew it, you were sat in front of your computer every day. Even with the best will in the world, you were making an effort to get up and get showered before you sat in front of your computer because it's all too easy just to roll out of bed and sit in front of the laptop all day.
Definitely. And I think when you watch the telly and everybody else is doing the same, it normalises it a bit. So when you want to change it again, you struggle a wee bit. We'll also support people that maybe in the past have had trouble, using public transport, getting on a bus, or people that they've gone through school, there's maybe been a bit of bullying, there's maybe been things going on, so self-esteem's become quite low.
Okay, yeah.
It's using tools to try and promote, to let people see what skills they have, because people always have something, but it's sometimes hard to recognise that in yourself. So it's about encouraging that more optimistic thinking, positive thinking.
Yeah, positive thinking,
Somebody else doing it for you sort of thing.
I think it's really reassuring that there's, a service out there, free to access service as well, that
our service can be chargeable depending on people's income. That would be through Dundee Council. We'll have to complete a financial assessment. That then goes off to the council and they would let us know and let the person know.
Is that means tested? It's like a means tested sort of method?
Yeah. So people on quite a low income tend not to be chargeable. It's unfortunate. I wish that wasn't the case, but unfortunately, that's just the way the service has been sort of financed. So.
Oh, absolutely. But the most vulnerable ones out there technically are able to access this service when they need it. It's done DWide as well. And is it something that would be like, do I visit you in a building somewhere, or is it is it more online at the moment with COVID? Or
it has been. I think that was difficult for people as well, because it went from we were seeing people face to face, and they were able to come to the office, and obviously all that changed. So we were doing Zoom calls and phone calls, but whenever it was possible, we were able to meet outside and go for a walk with somebody, sort of walk talks, and that's what people can do now. Because I think if we're trying to break the cycle of self-isolation and feeling lonely in the house, you want to be out with somebody.
Absolutely. Katie, I couldn't agree more with that. Certainly with some of the young people at the college here that have maybe developed some social anxiety over the time. It's a big thing for them even just to come and meet you in the first place.
Exactly.
And then to go into an enclosed space like an office or something just isn't right. So walk and talk, and the beauty of that as well is you'll know you're not looking at them dead in the eye, you're side by side. So it's much nicer.
And there's always something else to look at. So if conversation gets a bit difficult, that's a nice tree, or that's a nice plant. There's,
absolutely. And any young person hearing this talk just now should be reassured by that, that it is a nice experience and safe in that way. Because that's the thing as well, it's the fear of the unknown a lot of the time, isn't it? Not knowing what to expect, even who to expect. So the fact that we've got the voices on here, it's a bit of the battle.
And it's, we talk about it as a person-centered service. So what support would be for one person would be very different to somebody else. And it's the person who's using the service that would take charge of how the support goes. They would make their plans. They would do something called an IROC. Service. It's an individual recovery outcome counter, which is a bit cool. But it gives us an idea, and the person an idea of what aspects of their life they're struggling a bit with. So it might be home, their mental health, or it might be their relationships or their activities or their sense of purpose. So it's trying to define exactly what's not working so well, what we might be able to help them with.
I think that's great. It's to me, when you were mentioning that there, it reminded me quite a lot of the wellness recovery action plan.
Yeah, we do use RAPs as well. Yeah. We tend to use IROC, try to make some sort of plan from that as what support would be, and then maybe incorporate RAP so people can understand their triggers or what keeps them working, what's not so good. And there's things that, they develop over time. It's not a quick fix. It's not like 6 weeks and then that's it. It can be something person might use for the rest of their days, that works for them.
It's really, really interesting. It's all kind of intertwined, but I like the fact it's person-centric and they're driving it, and it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. That's what I'm hearing from you, Katie, quite clearly. It's person-centric, which is great.
And sometimes people might come in thinking this is what's not going so well, but actually through support and sometimes just talking to somebody, you think, well, actually it's not that at all, it's something else, So
it's amazing how these things transpire, because it's so true, isn't it? When you keep everything to yourself, and just sometimes having that objective person, which which you'll be, you're not emotionally tied to the person, you have an objective conversation. It's just great to know it's there, because in the world we've been in the last couple of years, a lot of services effectively felt like they'd shut down a bit, or certainly were certainly a lot more limited than before. So it's good for people to know it's still there. What I'm interested in, though, Katie, is what got you into this?
I've worked with people with mental health difficulties for quite a while, and I worked in supported accommodation, so it was a different type of service. It was recovery focused, but it was more limited, I suppose, because the person was particularly ill. And I think through that, you see that even people have said in the past, they'll not be able to do this or they'll not be able to do that. You think, actually, they can. They can do lots of things. So what appealed to me was Penumbra, the recovery focus side of it. And I think to be able to speak to somebody who feels things are never going to change and this is the way it's going to be, it's quite good to say, well, in my experience, that things do change. And it maybe starts really, really small. You know, it's maybe just I managed to get on the bus into town, or, you know, I managed not to do something that I shouldn't be doing, you know, but it's gradual steps and then it builds up. But I think you've got to start small and allow that to develop and people become confident again.
That's how you're absolutely it's spot on in terms of like how you get big results. You start small.
Yeah.
You know, you take a couple of steps in the right direction, and you might end up taking one back, two forward, one back, few to the side.
Life's like that, isn't it? Yeah, it's up and down.
No, it's always a B road. It's never an A road. It's always a B road, isn't it? You go around the houses, come back, and it's a nice little analogy. And just to get to know you a little bit further, what if you had to? I'm going to make you a superhero for the next game or whatever, right? But you get to choose your own superpower. You're only allowed one superpower. What's it going to be, Katie? You're only allowed one.
I think I'd like to fly. I think flying would be quite good.
I've got to ask why.
Well, just I think a freedom, and also if you're not happy, you can just go. In the bus, not rely on the car.
Go to Africa for your holidays in the winter, like all the birds. You know? Fantastic.
I think that would be good. Yeah.
Right. No, thanks so much, Katie. Just because I could probably speak to you for another 15 minutes, but we've got 3 on the call. We've got about 45 minutes. I'll bring Mark into the mix now, and so Mark, tell us a bit about yourself. What part of the service you look after?
Yeah. I think you probably would have been better staying with Katie, but I'll bash on regardless anyway. I've been with Penumbra for a year now, and I'm within the self-harm service. I'm a peer worker within the self-harm service, and what that basically means is I've got lived experience of mental health challenges in some form. So within the service, we specifically look at self-harm, as I say, and what we consider self-harm is a range at anything anybody does to themselves in a deliberate manner to gain that emotional release. So, you know, we say self-harm, and I think it brings up a lot of connotations in our mind. People will think maybe cutting and burning, and that's a huge part of it. But we would say anything anybody does to themselves in a deliberate manner to cause pain or upset or to gain some sort of control. So anybody that does that can come to the service. And what we offer is a service over roughly 15 sessions, where first couple of weeks it's basically a getting to know you. At the moment, it's because of COVID and because of Omicron, the majority of it's done online. We can offer phone support as well. The benefit online is we could, like we're doing now, we got that ability to see face to face as well. Individuals can keep their camera off if they don't want to, but it allows us the opportunity to work on things together at the same time. So sharing screen and sharing resources and looking at that sort of thing. But generally, the first couple of weeks is to build that relationship, you know, build a bit of common ground, an environment that's kind of safe, non-judgmental, and hopefully me as a peer worker, there's a bit of common ground there and lived experience that we could share. And then much, as Katie described, we use IROC as well. So looking at that individual's whole life, what's going on around them, just to gain an understanding of what is causing stress or what is causing anxiety and what we could fix. We do have the ability, if there's something out with the remit of what we do, we have the ability to signpost. So if perhaps, I don't know, somebody's maybe facing an eviction, for example, can't pay their rent, etc., we can obviously then signpost on their behalf and try and alleviate the stressors there that would obviously reduce their poor mental health.
I think that's a big thing. We spoke about that before, Mark, as well. I mean, if someone's in distress, you know, and they're needing to access the Penumbra service for self-harm, for example, that can just feel like an absolute nightmare, having to deal with things like overdue rent or landlords and, you know, all that type of stuff. Is really, really difficult for a person to deal with that stuff. So then it builds up or mounts up and then it gets worse.
Absolutely. And again, when we're looking at, we would never say to anybody, and we don't say to anybody, you must stop self-harming. Really, we realise that that's the end result. But what we're trying to do is it's harm minimisation approach. So what could we do to reduce those stressors? And whilst everything might be going on around that person, they don't have the ability to kind of even think about coping strategies or or looking at, let's take time out, because they're not, everything else around them still happening. So it's about reducing those stressors, whatever they'll be. And then again, as Katie says, it's about, right, what do we need to work on now? What's going to make a difference for you? And it's you as the individual. So again, we're all completely different. What worked for me might not work for somebody else. People might have tried things in the past, so it's no that one cap fits all. And again, we've got that bit of time where we can build the relationship, get to kind of know, hearing what they're really saying, listening to what they're kind of looking for, and then building a plan that works for them. And they're on board the whole time. We're working together towards that end result, which hopefully is a healthier way to kind of deal with the life, if you like, and have those coping strategies. But hopefully along the way, we've kind of reduced some of those stressors as well.
So what, Ed, would be the big thing you're seeing at the moment then? What are the types of calls you're receiving mostly around when it comes to self-harm? What is the common self-harm now? Has it changed from?
It really is vast. We will get people that are cutting, but we've got examples of risk-taking behaviours. People who have such low self-esteem, they'll put themselves in they'll have risky behaviours. So, I might be getting into trouble, might be fighting, but the consequences don't mean so much to them because they've got such low self-esteem, they feel they might deserve it. So, again, low self-esteem, but again, COVID's had a big impact as well.
Of course.
I've got I've had a lot of people that are in university and in college. The difference between being in campus and having to cope online.
It's real.
And I see it as a massive barrier. So again, obviously working with you guys, working with the university and their support services, because even for individuals that do suffer from anxiety, kind of getting the information they need to know, who do they speak to? Making a telephone call is a massive thing for some people. On campus, they might pick up something from, a peer, or they might hear what to do. But if they're isolated, and that a lot of overthinking, catastrophizing. So university and studying is a common thing at the moment.
And it comes up to that exam time, assessment time, and it's difficult because when you're on campus, you just learn. You're in a learning environment all day, and you learn as you go. Do you know what I mean? You don't realize you're learning sometimes, but you're just learning. Whereas when you're at home, if you go back to that situation I was talking about, where you roll out your bed or not, you roll over and pick up your laptop and bring it into the bed with you, which I'm quite sure a lot of students do. The camera it's not mandatory to have a camera on, so the camera's off. How much learning are you actually doing lying in your bed compared to going into a learning environment, getting up, dressed, changed, showered, breakfast for the day, onto campus, full day learning versus the other? I think there's a place for both types of learning, because online learning certainly gives you more flexibility, less travel, and so it's got its benefits. But in terms of connection, you can't really replace that, can you? That whole in-person experience.
And some of the individuals feel stuck at that moment, and again might be suffering from low self-esteem, and they can't access maybe that support because they don't have the confidence to do it. It might just be, it might be something to do with an essay, a particular subject. But you're right, camera off, and there's all these other people around. It's not just as easy to ask that question. Whereas if you were in a lecture theatre, you might ask the lecturer on the way out, wait till everybody's gone, ask that question. It's just these kind of small nuances that make a massive difference.
For me anyway, it's the catch up over coffee chats that are being missed now. So it's the conversations with students that happen on the off chance that they walk past the office, or they feel in that moment they want to talk to someone, they want to have 5 minutes with you. Can I grab you 5 minutes? Yeah, no problem. Are they going to make the phone call in the same way? Probably not, as they would if they bumped into you in the corridor and said they've got 5 minutes. And I feel that's what, as colleagues, not just students, and as colleagues, you guys as well, like not being in an office together, your learning's hampered in a way, because you're just not bouncing off each other the same way if you're not in that workspace.
I would even use that as an example. Like, I've been there a year, so I started kind of mid-pandemic, and I started many jobs for the first time, and always in an environment where you are surrounded by people, and you do build that relationship. And if you are struggling, then even if colleagues and people are great at picking up. You'll always have somebody in the office that will see that somebody new that's struggling, and they'll offer
Yep.
that support.
Yes.
Or you might be confident enough to go and ask for that support. So you learn more from the people around you, but also you build those relationships. Whereas, so, you know, it's very sporadic. And like that, we're 3 individuals who work out the Dundee office all in different rooms.
Yeah.
You know, so even this is the first time I've seen Anne, and I don't know how long, you know, we both work out at
Yeah,
Dundee.
of course. And you're in the same. I'm the same in my organisation. You know, there's tutors I won't see all year. Effectively, they could all be teaching online. There's teams within the college. I'm quite sure that have been at home majority of the pandemic because you know they might. I don't know particular roles, maybe payroll, HR roles like that potentially. You know, and it is exactly that. And when it comes to like self harm, it's so wide ranging because I know we had a conversation before the interview, and I was always taken aback by some of the types of things that are considered self harm. So you know, risky sexual behaviour is considered as self harm. I don't know. I wouldn't have considered it in that way. Swallowing batteries was something you mentioned to me before as well. I was like, wow, is that a thing? You know, it's just some stuff that I wouldn't have thought of.
And yeah, that's it. And it is, you know, the range is vast. You know, we're still scratching the surface because I think, again, there's obviously stats out there, and it's what is considered self-harm. And in the main, it is, as we said at the beginning, the cutting, the burning, but it's wide-ranging, you know, age-ranging, sex-ranging. It does, you know, it's so vast, and it's, you know, I'm seeing a lot of people coming through that are older now, that are, as Katie says, are that used to kind of working from home. They're fearful of going out and getting the routine that they were so used to. They've become withdrawn. So I'm finding older people who have never self-harmed before, but they're so kind of isolated at the moment, and they're looking for a release. And you know, I had one guy's in his 50s, and he couldn't explain to me why he'd never had any urges to self-harm. Did suffer kind of low self-esteem in the past, but always kind of managed work. Never lost his job, but the thought of going back to work was so daunting to him that all of a sudden he started self-harming. And now he's at the point where he's thinking, I don't know how to stop this. And obviously we're looking at strategies, but yeah, so it's not exclusive to anybody. We all suffer fear, anxiety, you know, we all overthink things.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we have the ability to kind of bring that back and rationalise it. We'll lived experience. We'll look at things that have happened in the past, and we can kind of rationalise it.
You know, one thing we all have, Mark, is we all have mental health. All of us, every one of us human beings, we've all got mental health. And at times, that health isn't as good as it could be. Just like we've got physical health, and sometimes we break a leg or an arm or get a cut or a bruise or whatever. Sometimes we bruise our mental health as well. And it's like recognizing that and doing something about it rather than like ignoring it, like what the old school method way back used to be, was just ignore it, it'll go away. It won't go away. You know, you need to look after your mental health as much as your physical health, especially now that we've got all these different challenges in our life. Now, Mark, you said like the reason you got into Penumbra was through lived experience, so I've asked you that question. But I am interested in what your superpower would be if I was to make you a superhero for the day.
I do like the idea of flying. I've always said I would like to be a bird, but you know, Katie took that one.
Yeah,
so,
took it a different one.
I would say, I think, let's say what's it called? Transportation. So you could teleporting. Teleporting.
Teleporting,
yeah. So to have the ability whenever everything, as we say, was kicking off around with, and you feel like you're just to be able to take yourself to just that spot in your head where you could just kind of calm and everything is serene.
You might already possess that superhero power.
That's my shed at the top of the garden.
I'm guessing you're like thinking of transporting yourself to the Seychelles or like some island somewhere where you can just like chill.
Just somewhere that there's no people for 5 minutes and all you're just 5 minutes, that's it. And then back in the real world.
That's your shed. There you go. I'll see you in 5.
It's bloody
It's so important. No, thanks very much, Mark. That gives a really good idea. What I'll do at the end for everybody is I'll put up all the tags at the end, the website, Mark's email address to get on, Katie's, and also Anne as well, who we speak to. I'll put all that in the comments at the bottom. So if you're trying to desperately scribble down or you've not managed to jot them down, don't worry. They're all going to go in the comments at the end. Okay? Yeah, so that gives a good idea of the overall service. But if you want more intricate details on that, then it'll be marked that you want to follow up. So what will those 15 sessions look like? How do I get in contact? That's what we're going to put up at the end, okay? So get more of those details. Just so I can hear from Anne.
Hi there, hi.
Oh, Anne, you've been so patient.
I know. That's the middle name, Patience.
Is it?
No. No. Yeah, well, my name's Anne. Welcome everybody to our chat this afternoon, and I hope you're enjoying and embracing your college experiences. My role within Penumbra is I'm a wellbeing peer workshop facilitator, some title, but that's what it is. So you're probably wondering what a WOW is. We call them WOWs. WOWs are workshops that are based on wellbeing. We bring together a small group of people with an interest in a particular topic, and what we'll do is share knowledge and experience. So it's not a learning session, it's an experiential session, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So the groups focus on exploring tips, ideas, practical steps that can be taken to improve our mental well-being in that chosen area. So basically that's us. The workshops will last around 1 to 1.5 hours. They're facilitated by myself and my colleague Louise. They're very informal, very chatty, very fun, very laid back. We just have an informal and good, enjoyable time. We deliver them across citywide, community centres, community cafes. We'll go into anybody that's got a space to hold us in a building, because we don't have any of our own just yet. And through COVID times, we were delivering them over Zoom, which were very, very good actually. And the audience was very different from what we expected. We condensed the sessions, so they lasted an hour. So they weren't over lengthy, they weren't the one that is in depth, but we still got the point across, and we still got a lot of discussion going. The sessions mainly are based on discussion, so we kind of lead the topic and then it's taken over. Speaking of topics, we have an endless list of topics.
Yeah, tell us a couple of them. Tell what
You might regret this, Jason, honestly.
A couple of the most popular titles.
The most popular ones are anxiety and sleep. We also have self-esteem, assertive matters, healthy relationships. We are doing ones on ready, steady work to make sure people are mentally well for work. Some people assume, oh, I'm going to go into work, going to work too early, and it becomes a revolving door, and they're off again, sick, back, forward.
Yeah.
And it's a real struggle to get back in. As I said, anxiety and sleep, they seem to be the best ones at the moment. Seem to be the ones that everybody wants to go to. And they are.
Because we had, I mentioned it earlier, we had a sleep and social media expert on earlier talking to us about that. It's such a big
that was really interesting.
So yeah, I'd encourage anybody to have a watch of that as well, because it's such a big topic, isn't it? You know, and the link between, if you don't sleep, you can't function. And if that goes on too long and you keep, I think one of the things I heard Vicky saying earlier was you can't get an overdraft for your sleep. So you can't borrow sleep from the next day. It just doesn't, you can't do that. It just doesn't work like that. At some point, you're going to be in a bad way because you've just not had enough sleep over a time, which, scary, isn't it? And the implications of not sleeping for even like 2 or 3 days, you know, you start entering the realms of like really like psychosis, and that, you know, it's a torture method of you know, not like making people stay awake for days and things. It's scary, isn't it? Yeah,
we tend to look at like the reason you're not sleeping, like why are you not sleeping?
Yeah.
There's always a reason behind. The same with the anxiety. What's causing your anxiety? So we're exploring backwards, really.
Yes.
I mean, we'll explore the tips, but I think for me, I always say at the end of the session, if you can't discover why you're not sleeping and what's causing your anxiety, you'll never be able to resolve these issues. You need to go back and look at what's causing these issues. And sometimes that's like regressing back and going and working with the Nova service with Katie or one of the other team to find out what's the issue, or going to speak to Mark and, you know, that kind of thing.
Just go deeper into the issue.
Yeah, because I mean, people will obviously, because there is a reason behind these. There's always a reason behind why we're not sleeping.
Of course, and it's not just assuming.
Yeah.
It's not assuming that like one size fits all approach. It's not like, put your phone away half an hour before bed. I don't even own a phone. You know, like
and then your mind starts racing at that point. That's the issue. It's when it's taken off on its own, isn't it?
That's really good to hear, Anne, that,
Yeah.
again, it's a person-centric approach. It's like,
Absolutely.
because it's the mental health is so individual. Like something that might be really troubling for one person doesn't bat an eyelid to another one. Some people can be in extreme state of mental health and self-harm over a debt, but it's a debt that's nothing to someone and huge to someone else.
Yeah.
It's things like that you hear. But it's good to hear that the service is matching the individual in that way.
Absolutely. I mean, we take ideas for workshops also from supported people. We'll say, what do you want? We've had ones that came through, and we've recreated one that was on menopause. We're doing ones on seasonal affective disorder at the moment. We're looking at that.
Oh, that's sad?
Sad, yeah.
Yes, I've heard of it. I don't know an awful lot about it, but I hear it's quite a lot of people do suffer from it.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. It's come the winter, honestly, you'd be really surprised how many people will actually self-isolate and sort of just not connect with anyone, and they'll get really down. They'll not leave the house. Everything, their whole life pattern just changes from the summer, and it's an amazing change that you can see in people from that. In the summer, they're very active, very outgoing, they're very personable.
Yeah.
In the winter, the person will just shut down.
Wow.
And it's looking at techniques to work through that. And trying to push yourself up a wee bit harder, and just forcing yourself to go out.
I get that though, and I don't know, wouldn't know if I've got sad or not, to be honest. But I definitely do feel better when days are lighter and longer.
Yeah, I think everybody does, but I think when it gets to the extreme state where it's becoming like an issue for your mental health, I think that's when it needs to be addressed. But it's recognising that as well. Is that really happening to me? Some people don't recognise it. The same with anxiety. They'll not recognise they have anxiety. They'll not recognise that they've got low self-esteem until it sometimes comes out, and then they're like, oh, wait a minute, actually, I'm suffering from anxiety. They realise I had that. And it might not be an extreme anxiety. It could be a small amount of anxiety, which some people can deal with on different levels.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, it's like the whole argument about stress. Stress is healthy up to a point. You need a little bit of stress to drive you. But it tips at a point where it becomes like a problem,
it's hard to manage to make it positive stress. Yeah, it's turning anxiety and stress into positives. So you could work on that and make them positives.
I think it's brilliant, and these are some of the workshops. Me and Em were speaking quickly before this, and obviously just because of various bits and bobs as well, we haven't had you into the college to deliver any of these workshops. But
not yet, but we're looking forward to it.
Exactly, that's what we're looking to do. So watch this space, everybody. There will be some dates going up once we've got them organised and what they actually look like in terms of if they're going to be ideally in person as drop-in training sessions. We also do our after hours group, which I've said to Anne, it might be worth coming along to our after hours service at some point.
Absolutely, that would be ideal in the first instance, definitely.
Absolutely. So there's going to be more here with Penumbra, but as the last 2 years have been a little bit strange and things, we can put it down to that. But very keen to have some of these wellbeing wow workshops. Is that what we call them?
That's what we call them. Wows.
Wow. Look out for the wows. Yeah, absolutely. Because any additional resources for our students to access when it comes to mental health and well-being are very much welcome. Definitely. So, Anne, the most important question of all, what are you having for your dinner tonight?
No, actually, my partner's cooking.
I told you to throw you a curveball.
Well, no, I'm not a cook, so my partner cooks, so I'm going up to his house tonight for tea.
What's he cooking you, though? Or what you hoping he's cooking?
No idea, I just get a surprise. I go every Wednesday and get a surprise.
Well, there you go. Maybe the surprise maybe he's made you nothing this week.
No, there'll definitely be something, I can assure you.
Brilliant. Okay, then. So you're not getting out this one. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
For me, because I'm a peer worker, my brain never switches off, and I would love to be able to just have that little switch at the back just to go off. Just get some decent sleep. I mean, something like that. Just decent sleep, off. And then if somebody gets up in the morning to switch it back on, that'd be amazing.
You want to also switch it back on and you're fully charged, like you're 100% phone battery charge.
I mean, it'd be great. I would love that.
that would be great, wouldn't it? Switch 10 o'clock, back on, 6 o'clock, whatever it is.
8 hours later, click.
And like I did earlier on, I mean, I can't ask you the question, not answer it myself. So today I'm feeling like I want to be able to live underwater. That's how I feel today.
Oh,
I don't know why, but I just think it'd be great just to disappear under the sea and then come out looking like that big bloke Jason, what's it called, Aquaman. That's my plan.
or the guy from Moana.
Yeah, I just need to grow my hair a little longer than that. Is that relatively close otherwise, I think.
Daniel Craig.
Nah, he's a little bit older than me now, I think. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on. We're just coming to the sort of end there. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to read out the tags to get everybody on. So first of all, we are going to get Katie on dundee.nova@penumbra.org.uk. And that all this is going in the comments, by the way, so don't worry if you're struggling to keep up or the subtitles aren't on. We've got Mark is dundee.selfharm@penumbra.org.uk. And then we've got Anne, who is dundee.powwow@penumbra.org.uk. Also find them online at penumbra.org.uk. It's a website. And like I said, all these tags will be going into the comments section.
Can I just mention as well that Penumbra is on Facebook? And
Absolutely.
I think all of our services are separate as well. So you all have your self-harm Facebook, and we also have our Wellbeing Workshops Facebook, and I think there's a Nova Facebook as well. So we all have Facebook pages as well. So you'll find us on there as well.
That's absolutely brilliant. No, that's a go-to for people. Is that Facebook pages? Any Instagram for the Instagrammers out there?
No, there is Twitter though.
They're working on that one.
Twitter as well? Right there at Penumbra?
Yep.
Absolutely brilliant. So there's so much resources there for everybody to check in with. Anybody wants to contact me direct, it's just at Student Wellbeing mailbox, just pop a wee message on there. But yeah, we plan on just doing much more sort of work together. Hopefully as things start to become a bit normal again, we can have more on-campus, in-person workshops as well. But yeah, anything at all, guys, if you've enjoyed this session or want to know more information, then just reach out to any of the four of us. We'd all be delighted to hear from you.
Hear from you.
Absolutely.
Right, okay, they're already waving, so I better go away. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.